In this video, we're going to look at an example. We want to write an augmented matrix for each of the following systems of equations, then use a graphing calculator to put the matrix in reduced row echelon form to solve the system. So first, we're going to write this system as an augmented matrix. We're going to use the coefficients and the constants and write that as a matrix. So I'm going to have a matrix that's going to consist of 3 rows and 4 columns. So in the first row, I'm going to have 2. Again, that's the coefficient of the 2x here. We're going to have minus 1 or negative 1 for the minus y. We're going to have 4. I draw my vertical line. We're going to have negative 3 for the constant. For the second row, we're going to use the coefficients and constant from the second equation. So the coefficient for x is 1, for y is negative 2, and for z is negative 10, and our constant's negative 6. For our third equation, the coefficient for x is 3. Since there is no y term in this equation, the coefficient is 0 for y, 4 for z, and our constant is 7. So this is our augmented matrix. So now we want to use the graphing calculator to put this matrix into reduced row echelon form. So I'm going to bring my calculator in, and I'm going to start by going to the matrix option, which is the second of the reciprocal buttons. So second and matrix, and that brings me to this window. Well, the first thing that I need to do is enter this matrix into the calculator, and I'm going to do that by choosing the edit command. So I go to edit and just pick one of the matrices here. So I'm going to choose matrix A. Now the first thing that I have to do is enter the order or the dimensions of the matrix. So the number of rows goes first and the number of columns goes second. Well, in our case, we have 3 rows and 4 columns. So I have a 3 by 4 matrix. I'm just going to enter my augmented matrix into this matrix in my calculator. So I'm going to type in 2, negative 1, 4, negative 3. That's from my first equation. 1, negative 2, negative 10, negative 6. That's my second equation. And 3, 0, 4, and 7. That's from my third equation. So again, I'm just entering the matrix into the calculator. Once I have that entered, now I'm going to do second and quit to go back to the home screen. So now I want to put that matrix, again, I entered my matrix into matrix A into the calculator. I want to put that in reduced row echelon form. So I'm going to go back to matrix. This time I'm going to do math. So I'm going to select the math menu. And there's a lot of stuff that we can do here with matrices. So I'm going to scroll down that list, and if you look on my calculator, it is option B, RREF. That stands for Reduced Row Echelon Form. So I'm going to select that, and I want to put matrix A in Reduced Row Echelon Form. So I have this command. I'm going to go back to matrix one more time. This time I'm just going to select matrix A by choosing 1, closing the parenthesis. So I'm going to put matrix A in reduced row echelon form. When I hit enter, I get this. So I have 1, 0, 0, 3, 0, 1, 0, 7, 0, 0, 1, negative 0.5. If I want, since negative 0.5 is a decimal, if I would like, I could write that as a fraction. I can go to math and choose option 1 to put that as a fraction, and so it will write it as negative 1/2. So my reduced row echelon form is 1, 0, 0, 3, 0, 1, 0, 7, and 0, 0, 1, negative 1/2 or negative 0.5. Either way is fine. So that tells me that x is equal to 3, y is equal to 7, and z is equal to negative 1/2. So this tells me x equals 3, y equals 7, z equals negative 1/2. So my solution to the system of equations here is the ordered triplet 3, 7, negative 1/2. Now let's take a look at B. Now in part B, we have a system of 4 equations with 4 variables. So again, we're going to start by writing that in row echelon form. So I'm going to write down the 2 coefficient for W, negative 1x, negative 3y, 1z, and my constant's negative 8. So that is my first equation. 1w, negative 1x, plus 1y, negative 1z, negative 4 is the constant. That's my second equation. Third equation, 1w, 1x, 1y, 1z, 22 is the constant. And for my last equation, 1w minus 1x minus 1y minus 1z and minus 14. So I have my augmented matrix that is representing the system of equations. So if I bring my calculator back in, I'm going to go back to matrix and I'm going to edit. I'm going to use matrix A again, but this time I have a 4 by 5 matrix. It has 4 rows and 5 columns. So I'm going to enter this in: 2, negative 1, negative 3, 1, negative 8, 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1, negative 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 22, and 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 14. So I have my augmented matrix entered into the calculator. Second quit. Again, I'm going to go back to matrix now. This time I want to do matrix math, and I want to choose reduced row echelon form, so option B for matrix A. So when I select enter, I get my reduced row echelon form matrix. So we have 1, 0, 0, 0, 4, 0, 1, 0, 0, 7, 0, 0, 1, 0, 5, and 0, 0, 0, 1, 6. So here's my reduced row echelon matrix. And so this tells me that x equals 4, y equals 7, z equals 5, and this tells me that w equals 4, x equals 7, y equals 5, and z equals 6. So it should be w equals 4, x equals 7, y equals 5, z equals 6. So my solution to the system is 4, 7, 5, 6. And that concludes this example.